Hello everyone, it's a pleasure. We had a good class this time. I think there were 70 some beautiful souls in that class. Had several medical doctors in there. Lovely chap. One guy said he thought it was one of the better classes he'd been to, and I thought that was pretty good, you know. We had a lot of fun. I want to thank those of you that stayed and helped put up the tables and everything. That was a big deal. You know, at universities, they're not like hotels. Hotels go ahead and set everything up for you, you know, lay out the red carpet. Universities, you pretty much have to do it yourself. But that was fun. You know, those classes are always fun to me. Never enough time to cover what we need to cover. But keep it simple. Always keep it simple and realize you're up against a system that is not well understood, the lymphatic system. As said, I've got a book coming out on that system. We're going to have a little different charts in there to show you that the lymphatic system isn't just a sewer system / immune system. No, it's even more. It's a carrier system. You know, and I've been dropping some things to you to get you to start thinking about the absorption of nutrients. Mostly is into the lymphatic capillaries, not into the blood capillaries. Goes right from there to the liver, and then from the liver gets to the blood. But when you think about the absorption of fatty acids and even probably amino acids, you could really challenge the blood by absorption into the blood. And it's obvious that it uses the lymph system for a carrier system, for an immune system, for a sewer system. So we've got a big system there, and it's just been grossly overlooked. Marcy had found some charts way back from Germany showing the movement of food. They have, you know, they showed from the stomach, but it's really from the intestines, from the lymph system to the liver, and then out to the vascular system. So, again, there's theories in this world, and then there's theories, and then there's theories. One has to maybe adapt a theory with some common sense, because you have to understand a little chemistry and physics, and the compromising of blood pH is one area that the body guards strictly. This is why the liver is such a chemical manufacturing transmutation organ, because of its need to do that. Its need to convert fatty acids into the sterols or cholesterols and the like, and you know, all these conversions. Even thought I heard where glucose could be converted to an amino acid. So these things, a lot of the transmutation concepts and understandings are somewhat limited. Biological transmutations, the book came out back in the early 1900s. I've got that one. When I read that one, everything started making sense to me that, you know, we don't consider the transmutation or the changing of chemistry from one form to another. And yet it's a constant process through oxidation and ionization and all this stuff. So chemistry is always in a flux of change, but it must be harmonious with the Creator, and it must bring proper pH balances. And this is why I've always said, you know, the body is nothing, or life is nothing but variances of pH. Even in the minor acids, there's beneficial activity of this. And we see some gnarly base chemistries out there. So just stepping back from the body and looking at this, and this is one question someone had asked me here. I've just kind of glanced at this a minute. I have an A and P questions regarding the lymphatic system. I know that the spleen filters out the toxins from the blood and dumps into the lymphatic system. I know that it is taught that the lymph is dumped back into the blood from the lymphatic vessels to the circulatory system, and they have that all wrong. And look at these pro charts. I would show you this one here, but we have it at school. There's no kidney consideration. It's like that has been left out. In the older charts, you saw more focus on the lymphatic vessels. The newer charts, it's almost like that system has just been left to hang out there and die out there. And that's funny, because that's the system where most of man's problems lie. They don't lie in blood problems. You can have perfect blood work and have pain and swelling and problems and cancer, and your blood work looks good. You know, it's just a totally different system, and that's why it's so important to understand this lymph system. Can you provide me with the reason and the anatomy with where the lymph goes from the lymph vessels to get into the kidneys and out through the urine? Well, you'll see the two portal lymph veins, each going from each side of the body, each respectively have branches to the kidneys. Conveniently, they don't show that. They don't even show the kidneys in most of your charts. How interesting is that, huh? So the question is conspiracy, or whether it's just a system that was just kind of ignored through allopathy and just died away in our A&P classes, or what? But I've had A&P professors tell me that in re-looking at it the way we're looking at it, it just now starts to make total sense why that system is the way it is, why it's a lipid system, that sort of thing. You start understanding the acids and the need the body to buffer these acids. Not everything is converted to good chemistry. Matter of fact, if you look at life goes from birth, life, death. So everything, even the crib cycle, all these cycles have acids as the end products. And that's the point. Not all acids are then reabsorbed and changed to base and electrolytes back and stuff like that. If this was the case, you would have a truly closed system, and then perhaps the concepts of breatharian wouldn't be so insane, because you would simply be feeding off and energizing and back to chemical transmutations again, a constant closed house. There is some of that, but not really a lot of that. There is elimination of waste. That is obvious. And there's three types of waste, particularly. There's digestive waste, there's cellular waste, and there is microbial waste. And then if you've got worms and things like that, you got all those, but they're generally in those systems that are either in the lymph or in the blood or in the GI tract. So these pick up these wastes, you know. So that's the only thing I can tell you, Lynnette. This is, you're going to have to think outside the box. And let me tell you, if your kidneys are not filtering, you'll see the symptoms. If the kidneys are filtering, you'll see your symptoms go away, tumors. The nice thing we've had is through all these years, 40-some years, I've had a high level of people diagnosed with cancer come in trying to get their health back. And we're able to follow these cases, of course, quite with blood works and tumors and all this stuff, CAT scans. So through the years, I've been able to follow all these cases with all these things. And I can tell you, hands down, if you go by modern thinking, you'll end up where modern thinking is, in the shit cow. There's no healing allopathically. The toxicity effects of the pharmaceuticals and vaccines, you know, you see that polio's making itself around. Yeah, well, they only make you think that these things aren't out there, but you have to be in different circles. So really, anything by Tenpenny, Dr. Tenpenny, like I said, there's a neurosurgeon that's got a book out, I think, on vaccines, and there's the emerging virus from, not Wallach, but one of the guys, anyway, a big book on that. I think when you start stepping back outside of the academic intellectual circles that are incomplete in their understanding, and you step back. And this is why I think Chris put that up for you, that first part of the school segment. The reason I did that is to understand why genes are mutated, and the fact that you can get genes, or you can redo chromosomes and DNA, understanding that. Because they're living in a world of genes, and there's missing genes and missing this and missing that, but they don't know obviously what genes are. So getting an understanding, consciousness and energy, and then down into the chemical worlds are vital. And so I'm putting there's a lot of the school up there for you guys. And that's all I can tell you. You've got to get beyond just mental academics, or you'll end up living in a mental academic world where there's frustration, there's fear, there's no understanding of truth, and you'll live there. And most of what you'll be believing in is theory based. That's if you choose that's your life you'll live, and that's okay. I tend to choose the life of truth, and sometimes truth goes right against the popular thinking, and that And, in most cases. So you have to understand that, and you'll have to expand your consciousness and realize that there's a lot of things not right here. And this is also about our history books. Our history books are all wrong. And now I was telling you about the show of Unearthing America, but this is true worldwide. Most of our history books are probably very incomplete. And that's the trouble about believing things that are not true. You can say, oh, well, that's possible, and that's an idea, right? But life goes on, and life is nothing but a process of consumption and elimination at this level. And chemistry is the number one area that you're doing that with. When we take that chemistry apart, then we find frequencies of electromagnetic energy, we find the atoms, and then we bust the atoms, and what do we find? When we bust an atom, we find pure light and sound. Well, now we're getting into consciousness. Now we're getting into loosely called spirit, prana, life force, whatever. These are untouchable. Intelligence and awareness is untouchable. It's non-physical. And if you're a physical scientist and you're not spiritual and you can't break outside of that, you're lost. And unfortunately, there's a lot of lost people on this planet who are so constipated in their thinking from cramming too much in small spaces. And that's just something you'll have to find for yourselves, But it's enough to say that we're on the forefront of reopening up a can of major worms, and we need to be. You got to change what's happening. It can't be the same as usual. Take a look around at how many people are dying now. Can't be the same as usual. And you don't want God to shake things up because it's butt-whooping time. I mean, I've had it in my life. And, if I don't always listen, I'm not always happy with the results of what comes. And it's always a case of not listening, and the voice is always there. And that's true with each and every one of you. The voice is always there. You just got to quit focusing outwardly and listen inwardly. That's a technique you can do, is spend all week listening inside. Listen inside. Forget the outside, listen inside. Play with that. It's almost like the Slovakia. This is, I can't pronounce your name, I apologize. Oravcova. Slovakia? I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Again, I'm an old country boy. I'll call you Owen. That's Owen. That's good. Thank you for your love there. Thanks for your comments here. I changed my diet according to your book about 1.5 years ago. I had one very strong detox crisis about 1 year ago. Very strong cough, high fever. And that's a good detox, absolutely, which helped me to clean my lungs. Exactly. And that's the good thing about these symptoms of detox, is that they'll clean your lungs, clean your sinuses, things like that. And they're not bad. For some, they might be radical. Maybe to Mr. Ranger, it might be radical, Mike, but it's not. These things are not radical. These things have existed since the dawn of time. And if you're going to go in and understand the word detox, you have to understand what that means and what you're going to go through when that happens. My current problem is that I have eczema on big areas on my body, legs, arms, abdomen, and back, which is still spreading, and I am not able to stop it. That means that you have not gotten in deep enough, and you haven't got your kidneys filtering, and this is going back to kidney filtration. Pee in a jar and take a look at your urine, because there has to be sewage in it to be filtering. You wouldn't think something as minor as a lack of filtration could cause such a problem, but it's a big problem. You have to eliminate waste. You don't eliminate water and some minor chemistry. You eliminate waste from 100 trillion cells, and think about this. And you don't want your skin to primarily do it. And that's what's happening with you, is your skin is primarily being your elimination organ. And that means your kidneys are not doing it for you. But that would also explain the lungs and things like that as well, given that dairy products are immediate congestion with lungs up. There are many small weeping holes in my skin, and that weeping is interstitial fluid. That's lymph. That's mucousy lymph fluid, and that's what I'm saying. That's your lymph system, and it should be opened up and going the other way. The affected areas are very itching. Well, I'm sure you got a lot of fungus in there as well. You know, by the time your lymph is down, you realize the adrenals are down. By then you start to see blood sugar problems. These are universal problems that we all face. It's not that you come down with diabetes and you come down with these diseases. That's just this idiocy. In today's world, you guys are so much smarter than that. I was amazed at school of you YouTubers, how smart you guys are. You know, it's just, you guys are really picking it up, and you will, as we grow and we pick, and we will fill in these charts for you guys. We will fill in that lymphatic system for you. We will fill in the carrier system as well, how nutrients are absorbed more into the lymph system than into the vascular system, carried directly to the liver through the lymphatic duct, and then from the liver then converted to what chemistry is needed and sent out the blood. And you'll see that. But you can understand why that would be, because the concern of absorption of too many proteins or too many acid-forming chemicals that could highly compromise the blood, could also highly compromise the liver. So there's got to be some neutralization of these through the lipid fluid side and all that. So it just things make more sense as you begin to clean the covers off of them. Putting that sewer system in place is essential, and I think once that happens, you guys are changing the course of the world. So I invite all of you to work on these concepts. Let's figure this out in a way that's more scientific than they're thinking. It's not scientific to dump all the lipids, all the thing into the inferior vena cava, into the venous system again. That is idiocy. It takes the kidneys totally out of the mix. Even the own lymphatic system of the kidneys are out of the mix in most A&P classes, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So there's too much out of the mix to say, I got the body down. I know the body the way it works. Sorry. No one can make that claim, tell you the truth. It's too massive, it's too big, and there's too many ifs, buts, and we don't know. As modern as you think we are. The dermatologist told me that it is not caused by moles and want to use antibiotics and hormones for healing. Now, no one that I know of through all these years of acne and cystic acne and psoriasis ever gets cured of it by taking antibiotics and through dermatologists. I've never seen a dermatologist. It can go away temporarily when you get the bacterial action and you're suppressing with the bacterial action of an antibiotic and the lymph suppressing factors of the antibiotics. Yeah, then you're going to see, you can see, but there's going to be a point where you're too chronic. There's nothing to suppress anymore. That is all, it's just because of the use of antibiotics. You probably would want a lot of probiotics in your case, but not the ones you get on the market. You would want to, like that guy who went to Canada or northern Alaska to cure his lymphoma, you probably just want to start eating rotten food. But no one's ever got that. And the seriousness of using antibiotics on this, again, is killing the bacteria in the lymph nodes. You do that and you're setting yourself up for serious, serious problems. Bacteria are not after the cells, they're after the sewage in the body. You got plenty of macrophages and monocytes. You got plenty of cells that eat other cells up, you know, to take care of cells that are damaged. But you got the bacteria, particularly for the trash, and that's essential. Killing them has never been a smart idea, ever. But according to your book, it is not a very good idea to do it. It started about 4 months ago with a few small rash pimples. If it only started 4 months ago, you're in pretty good shape. Get those kidneys filtering, get this moving, all these acids moving through your kidneys, and your skin will clear up nice as you please. I tried to find any physician with any experiences with detoxification in our country, but I haven't found any. I am from Slovak Republic. Would you please give me any advice? Absolutely, man. And you've got the YouTube sites, you got the Facebook sites where plenty of people are friends of Dr. Morse or Robert Morse. You can go there. Plenty of help there with a lot of getting to be very experienced detoxifiers, and they'll be able to help you through that. But getting your kidneys filtering is everything to you, and if you don't agree with that, then that's okay. But that's our essential teachings, period. Now this is Maxwell. Hi Maxwell, I have a question. What is your idea, mind thinking theory, or whatever you want to call it, bunch of both probably, behind how medications can have hair loss as a side effect? Specifically, I'm talking about Accutane. I think when you look at Accutane, obviously it's a cell damager. And that's what makes a bad drug. You know, you change the nature of chemistry in the body and the nature of the blood and fluids, no question. But it's obvious that these chemicals had a direct effect upon cells and the destruction of cells. And so the affiliation for certain cells, that I couldn't speak to, I'm sure, because everything has an affiliation, certain chemicals or minerals like certain tissues. Like mercury and aluminum, we know love brain tissue. We know copper loves kidney tissue. So we know iodine loves thyroid, although you can see inorganic iodine deposits all through the body when people take it. And so, but we know certain areas have a tendency to have an affiliation for certain minerals, etc., etc. And I think it's probably what you're going to find with chemical medications too. Whether they realize that or not, or frequencies, all these things definitely impart things. But to me, to create that, you either had to suppress the lymph system, and that would include in the brain, to where then acids from your lymph system backing up chewed your hair off, which is how it falls off mostly anyway. Because you ask the same thing about thyroid. What chemical manifestation comes out of the thyroid that damages hair follicles? And I've never found any. So, but when you find that when you're having thyroid problems, you're having lymphatic problems, that when you're having acne problems, you're having lymphatic problems, head to toe, then you start seeing that maybe some of these drugs just simply exacerbate that problem. And then that can be very serious. Instead of being expectorants, they're suppressants. And that, I've always said, is a big deal to our world, as we've used too many chemical suppressants, suppressing acute and subacute stages. And now that we're in chronic and degenerative stages, they're actually cancer causers now, because they're just really slamming the cells. Before, they suppressed enough to hide the symptom. Now there's no place to suppress anything. Now it's tumors and things coming out from even chemical medications because they're suppressants. And you can't suppress anymore. That never was the game. But it was the game of allopathy, because you could suppress a symptom, and that made pharmaceuticals look good. So now once they've got a hold and everybody thinks they're wonder drugs, now because of the laws about side effects and the information to the public on these, and those that are smarter buying PDR books from, say, any bookstore that shows the side effects of these, it's frightening people. It's freaking people out. And then when you see probably, I would say you're probably going to find worldwide many millions of people killed with pharmaceuticals each year, worldwide. In America, it's probably 600,000-700,000, if not more, a year. I know totally it's over 1 million allopathically a year. So if you're saying half of that was pharmaceutical, maybe even more. So if you had 600,000 or 700,000 people die in America each year just from wrong or bad drugs, if that's not frightening enough, I don't know what is. And so many of them have fatal events to them that I'm sure that, if you have 600,000 people die from pharmaceuticals a year, how many people do you have injured by them? Accutane injured hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Didn't kill them, might have killed some. I don't know how you find that out, but certainly injured hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions and millions of people. So when you get these bad drugs totally allowed by the FDA, shocking. To me, that puts the FDA more as a criminal organization as opposed to a health group, because when you're allowing known drugs on the market that have fatal events, that to me would be a criminal act then. And that changes what the FDA, that changes that. No wonder they're hiring all these goons and going in and trying to take down and shut up people, because they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. Just like the IRS, they're in big trouble. These guys need to go to jail, a lot of them, just play some karma by sitting and playing some cards in a 6x6. Specifically, before it was used for drugs, it was used as a chemotherapy drug. I didn't know that. So thanks for the advice of that. Means a highly acidic. So right there's your answer. You just answered that yourself. Because when you take a look at that, chemo takes off the hair. But what does? Acids. Acids takes down tissue. Acids is the corrosive destroyer. And it takes down tissue if it has to. It's like a bulldozer. And that's why all this inflammation is just a precursor. That means acids are building, and that's a huge warning sign. Pain, swelling, these are huge warning signs that the next hit can be the destruction of the cells themselves. And that never means, or the mutation of DNAs and chromosomes. If you didn't understand the way the God worlds were put together, you didn't understand that all cells have a memory component, has emotional components, has a higher level of consciousness to them, you wouldn't understand how you rebuild genetic thinking, how you rebuild damaged chromosomes and that. You wouldn't understand that. And that's why that part of our teaching is vital to understand, not from a spiritual religious perspective in that case, but more in an understanding of how cells store memories and how cells respond to memories, just like plants and like everything else. Starts to give you a more wide perspective that life is full of life. Life is full of awareness. And that's why I wanted Chris to put that first day up, or at least half of that day up for you, to get a sense of that. One day I won't have my school at all here, and you'll have most of this up for you in that area. Or we'll have it up online for you, and you won't have to spend the money to come to school. But we do have fun there. I found all over the web. Its chemical name is, oh wow, retinoic acid? Yeah, definitely an acid. But they aren't sure how it goes about in the body. Well, acids are acids.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Here he is, Jim.
Okay. Yeah, put that. Who's this? You know.
And you're back.
Time for that. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
No
Man.
problem.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I tell you what, Maxwell, Jesus Christ, I mean, this stuff is insanity, and if we can warn the kids, the trouble is parents make the kids do different things, and without an awareness of their parents. That's why I think spirituality is so important, that we grow as a race and we awaken as soul, that at least those that are awakening can help inform and gear their kids, because again, there's so much propaganda out there that people are fighting over belief systems, killing each other over belief systems, and a lot of them are not even true. So it's tough stuff out there, you know. You're in a tough world. That's why I'm always promoting spirituality and the love of the self and all things. You know, the average person doesn't love themselves at all. Hard to love yourself, but it doesn't mean self-love by narcissism and egotism. It's just that you just, and there's really no, it's not, true divine love isn't an act of making love or becoming love or creating the emotional atmosphere of love. It just, love is a recognition that everything is God at one level or another. And it's just a bond of consciousness, hard to explain. Consciousness in its lower forms feels like love. But in its higher form, it's pure nirvanic awareness. Hard to explain unless you have bits and pieces of this. Hey, Will. Hi, Dr. Morse. Can you give me a quick series to God consciousness? Absolutely, man. That is, you got to get out of the mind. You got to understand the mind isn't a part of consciousness. It's a tool, it's a body, just like your physical body and like your emotional bodies. These are just bodies that only light up when you put your attention in them. It's just like pulling a DVD off a shelf. It's all on tape, all the images are there, but there's no light source and consciousness to turn it on. Once you put the light source up and you get it, you turn it on and you start the activity of it, then you start watching it, it's all on film. Well, all your lives are on film too, and you can see these films in the Akashic records in the causal worlds. You can get to these points. A lot of psychics do, even unconsciously, and the Akashic records have been taught by many, many groups. Hard to see that sometimes in the conscious mind, because your conscious mind is more focused external to yourself. That's why as you quiet, and the mind grabs that in waves of thought. And as you pull back from the mind, then you're more conscious as a conscious being instead of your thoughts are out there a million. Because every time you have something or think about something or want something, these are all thoughts. And all that you own, all that you want, is a little piece of you going out there, only in your attention. And pretty soon it invades your whole awareness to where you're living just like they asked me about the lymph system. You are asking, things that are not well understood yet. And even though we feel we're in modern times and we should know it all, we don't know nothing about chemistry and how the body really works and things. They're just so much. When some of us tear this apart, we go back. We found more information back in the earlier 1900s about how the lymph works and how the absorption of nutrients are than we do now in current literature. And so, some of that's dropped off for whatever reason. And so some of it we're trying to bring back and also add what we understand about the body and how it works and add this together to where it makes more sense. Because if you studied any A&P and you're really concerned about acids in the lymph system and stuff like that, you'll draw a blank. You'll get to a wall. And that's why God consciousness is key. The best way to God consciousness is live in the present moment. And I mean, because there's levels of that. I don't know if you got the chart on there, but above the soul plane, above the Satnam soul plane, it's just how now can you be? And the deeper and the allness, as you get deeper into the now, you start expanding unlimitedly. And it's just hard to explain that. It's a level very few are allowed to experience while maintaining bodies, because you just don't want to come back to them. There's nothing in these bodies that can keep you here except unconsciousness, because the other's just so massively aware and awake. I don't even know how to describe that. And so you have to have some degree of unconsciousness to be willing to agree to stay in creation in the first place. You've heard people that have had out-of-body experiences that have said, I didn't want to come back, but that voice told me I needed to come back. And that's just in the astral worlds. Let alone you get into these higher heavens. There, you got to be real one strong soul to journey and to control that and to be very aware that you can come back and do your things. I mean, there's a lot of deeper levels. We didn't have a chance to have a lot of spiritual session this time. We're just way behind there. And this is Mike. Hi, Mike. About a year ago, I started getting bad acne. Look at all the skin problems we're having. It just shows the level of lymphatic issues that we're having in the body, but it's drawing the attention to this system. You notice that? It's forcing us healers to look at this system and to deal with this system, because if you don't do like we did and get into the body and look at this and try to fix this and tear it up, you're treating. And if you're treating, you're very unsuccessful. Nobody gets cured treating. But most of you that have had acne and any type of psoriasis and things like that have tried all kinds of things. Some of you have tried everything under the sun. Unfortunately, some of the Accutane bad drug syndromes have been out there, and they're still out there. And they're still to be allowed out there. I really want to know when the FDA is going to pull Cipro, knowing it killed the last person with antibiotics, knowing that it kills a lot of people, knowing a lot of people have heart attacks and strokes from it. Maybe not die, but have heart attacks and strokes from it. I'm amazed. I'm just totally amazed that, and I think that when you really look at this, these governments have gotten so criminally focused and minded, because that's nothing but criminal right there. That's not, we didn't know or we didn't do. No, you really are allowing the use of toxic chemicals under the facade of being a consumer protection agency, and this is probably true the world over. Your government's acting like they're consumer protection agencies when they're just money grabbers. And that there's no love, there's no spirituality. But you can't keep, electing lawyers and people like that, who some of the wealthy people that have no connection to the poor. It's just going to have the same old stuff here. Now, this back acne's on the back, mostly upper and on my shoulders. Well, but that also means, my friend, your lymph's backed up in your head too, and now you want to get this out of there. I'm hoping something you sell or any advice you can offer would be beneficial, since I prefer not to use. Well, there's no cure with prescription drugs because they're treatment-based thinking. You've got to get in and get your lymph filtering, check your urine, make sure it's sediment in it. You want to get on herbs for the adrenals, on the kidneys. You want to hit the lymph system. And if you're going to shake it up, if you're not sweating, get your your thyroid up and get yourself sweating. You either use herbs or glandulars for the thyroid to do that. And that's, there's a lot of information here on this site. I know there's a lot of videos to go through. That is a negative thing, I know that. But each question is very valid. But you see, the skin issue is a repetitive issue. But it's everywhere out there, and so I understand the seriousness of that. Last time I asked a question, you answered it for me via video response. I didn't have much time these days to sit and watch many. I know there's so many of them, and I agree with that. So I'm saying this right to you, and this goes to the lad before and before. The skin, big issue. But just remember, your skin is considered your third kidney. It's an eliminative organ, but it's also absorptive. It's like a sponge. What you put on it, you bring into the body. And we were laughing about that at the class. All the women in the makeups, you're eating all this makeup and all these chemicals. And so real important to be careful what you put on the skin. Of course, if you breathe it, if you can smell it, you're already smelling the molecules of it. So you're already ingesting it at one level or not. That's why I say if you don't want to eat meat, don't hang around the kitchen where they're cooking it. Dr. Morse, thank you for enlightening us. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Who are we talking about? Oh, Anna. Hi, Anna. Hi, sweetheart. Let me see here. I was wanting your advice on a particular healing crisis that my 84-year-old father is having. Well, let's look at this. This is a fairly new one, so let's look at this. Let me start at the beginning. His main concerns is stomach and bowel pain, his eyes. Now, he's 84. So for him not to have deterioration in the gut like this would be amazing. Probably has good genes, though, to be 84 in today's world. Stomach and bowel pain. His eyes show holes. Oh, wow. So she's a good iridologist. She's looking in the eye here. His eyes show holes or dark areas in them. Oh, well, you know what? That's about the power of the course. Lots of sulphur. Oh, man. And very out of shape and a cholesterol ring. I'd have figured that one. See, you guys are good. And you know what? A good lady. This is just why you use that tool. What fun to look in the eyes. People need to be more receptive to fun things instead of always holding back. And people need to let their joy go. People are so reserved. I guess that's because they've been screwed so much by everything. But, when you open the world to love and spirituality and God, relax and open it up. It doesn't care if you get the highest high or the lowest. You're opening. You're becoming more in tune. And that's what people need to loosen up and have more fun in your lives. And, really, why are you here? And if it's not just to experience and have fun, you're going to hit the negative. Okay, so what? And you just keep burning through that. Keep your joy and your happiness up top, away from the bodies and away from anything. And don't be pulled into things. And the fact that she already identified this is really cool. So you got to get the sulphur out. Use the GI broom. If he can tolerate that, we'll go on and see what you say about this. The cholesterol ring is obvious in an 84-year-old as the most part. So upper circuit, brain, and nerve, because you want to keep your father healthy, and at least his mind healthy. Because if you're going to leave the planet, you want your body and mind to go at the same time. You know what I mean? So I would definitely upper circuit, brain, and nerve. That'll keep lymph going up. If he has some high blood pressure, I'd probably do a cayenne garlic. We have butcher's broom in ours that also dilates the vascular system a little bit. Not high heat cayenne. 25,000 heat units is about an organic cayenne. I know Schultz likes the 90s and up. Too hot. The lower ones will dilate, won't overcause mucosic responses, mucus responses, and you'll gently have some dilation vascularly, which will then move blood more aggressively. I think in someone his age, keeping blood moving is a big issue, even though you're heavy lymphatic up this age, keeping that blood opened up, and you can't open it up completely till you get your lymph moving, because the occlusion or blockage of the blood vessels is a lymphatic experience, remember, in the wall. So that would be very beneficial to help him keep the blood going to the head and the heart area. Lower circulation, upper circuit is for head up, lower circuit is for the head, the upper torso down. Plus periodic experiences, bitterness in the mouth, Yeah, which is also accompanied with dizziness with varying degrees of this. Well, the dizziness, of course, this is coming from, he's all backed up here, probably backed up in the liver a little bit here, getting a little bitter bile. And then you got the dizziness from the cerebellum. That could be definitely coming right from the stomach itself. So I'd get that stomach tea, definitely get him away from all proteins, anything like that, cooked starches, stuff like that. You know, start getting into salads if you have to at 84, steamed vegetables, cooked vegetables, you know, that sort of thing. Get him a little more up on the salad depending on his teeth and his ability to chew. Definitely want to excite him at 84. If he doesn't like vegetables, that would be great, and get him on fruit, because at 84, that's the level. You don't want the vegetables at 84 years old. Your digestive system is highly compromised. You need neural work. You need brain work. So you're right into the fruits and the berries and the melons. When you're 84 years old, you need to be an island consumer. You need to have a tropical diet. It'll keep you well. It'll keep your kidneys filtering. It'll keep you alive years and years and years. Going on a high-protein diet at 84 is just your early graves, you know. There are other issues, but this is the main three that need to be addressed here in this email. Well, the stomach, again, is the nerve ganglia for the autonomic, can reach up here in the cerebellum, and it can be lymphatically involved, have inflammation, in other words, in the cerebellum. To have cholesterol plaquing in the head, it has to be lymph in the head. So it can be just heavy lymph up here as well. You got to get your father detoxing, get his kidneys filtering. That's number one. That kills us all. Get your kidneys filtering, and then get his. I'd still do the circulation formulas. Keep that blood moving around him while you're working on his kidneys, his adrenal glands, all that. Stomach and bowel number whatever. If he moves his bowels once a day, then stomach and bowel number 1. Every other day, number 2. When he can handle it, I'd kick him up with the GI broom, start pulling that sulphur out, because that's going to create gassy, bloaty experiences with him in or coming out. Because of this, the problems, I have found it very hard to put him on some of the botanicals. Well, then I would do some buffering. You know, he definitely needs a liver gallbladder formula. But I would do some buffering with the stomach tea, that new stomach tea. It'll buffer the herbs and the alcohol, the strength of that. So you could take that with that. You could also do some aloe vera, fresh from the leaves, better. If not, get some high quality aloe vera juice. Maybe a 2-ounce shot glass, put all your herbs in that, and then do the stomach tea with that. So everything is buffering and healing and soothing. And then as you begin to pull and move, get the liver functioning up again, you know, get everything moving. Look at his blood work. Get a blood work from him. Look at his creatinine. Look at his liver enzymes. Things like this. And you'll see maybe where he needs to work there. Would increase, hence making it unacceptable to take on a regular basis. Some of these were endocrine gland and kidney 1. I want to say this, you need to try to somehow get him filtering with kidneys and lymphatics and adrenals. That is key no matter what. So somehow you got to slip these herbs in him, at least for kidneys and endocrine gland, minimal. One lymphatic formula would be good, a bowel formula would be good, because if you can't do it with the herbs, which is our helpers in every way, you know, nowadays I feel naked without them. But you have to get him all on fruit. You know, you can't just go, well, let's get him better, but we have to half-ass it, because he'll half-ass it, can't do the herbs, you can half-ass the diet. Well, that's what you're going to get. You're going to have a hard time getting your dad. So you might have to, but he is able to take Hill tea and stomach and bowel form. Perfect. Adrenal glandular and various single herbs for his kidneys. And all right. That sounds good. And his liver. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, good girl. This is a good woman here. At first, he was experiencing good results, and then he had a healing crisis with his stomach and bowels. He not able to eat many fruits or vegetables. I guided him through those very difficult weeks he was having. Now, listen, also, if you're having, or your loved ones or someone you're working on is having a strong detox, which I haven't got into that yet, but if they do, and remember, these videos might be time delayed because I had a class for a week. I had a few days before I had to get ready. So, you know, there's a whole week past here. You might want to call in. You know, we appreciate calls like that. We have people calling 4 and 5 times a day. Which vinegar should I get? What, you know, that sort of thing. And it's like, no. No, we can't afford the people to answer these kind of questions. Get books, read books, ask the Facebook people, because these are simple questions. And when we have, 100 people calling about simple questions like that, the people that are in serious trouble can't get in. And that's very hurtful for these people, because we have some serious people out there. So keep your life simple, don't sweat the small stuff. I should also mention that his diet was 2 meals of fruit and salad at night. That's perfect. That's friggin' perfect for a guy 84. This is a good woman right here, let me tell you. But now his healing crisis is the dizziness and bitterness. Well, you know what? Make sure his bowels are moving. Keep everything moving, because you could get a little expectoration from the liver, maybe even from the pancreas. The dizziness is just showing you that the stomach problems are real. I'd get the stomach tea, have him sip it, not just drink it down, sip it throughout the day. Same thing with Heal-All tea. But you really wouldn't need the Heal-All tea. You can pull that back. But if he handles that one, I like that. That's a little more pulling and drawing to it. I like that one. You could use that one. But sip it through the day and let those herbs have a chance to work in the stomach and work themselves down. If you've got the capsules, okay, that's even better yet in that way. Then I'd get the stomach tea. And work with that and slowly get that liver going and get that. But you got to get the kidneys filtering. This is a huge deal. Not everything comes out the GI tract. You've got those kidneys, and that is a big deal for him. So I keep hitting those kidneys. You might have some blood sugar problems in here too. I mean, his adrenals at his age, who knows? Blood pressure, things like this. He is constantly experiencing this, as previously it would come and go. Well, you're opening up a nest of worms, but a nest that's got to be opened up. I'd deworm him too. You never know. This guy can be full of flukes and worms. So parasite G and M, I'd definitely deworm him. And you want the G to be capsules in case he got tapes or rounds. So you definitely want to deworm this guy. You don't know what he's got. That's always the case. That's why the first kit is always essential for your people. And it's easy. Here, just take that first detox kit. And that'll deworm them as well. And if you see worms with that kit, I'd follow along with Parasite G even more, because you want to, and when you're deworming yourself or defluking yourself, you got to take in egg considerations and stuff like that, or you reinfest. So, I would probably cycle this. I'm not a parasitologist, but I would cycle this every 30 days for a few months. Let me see this. So I suggested to have some cooked food to slow or stop it, but he seems to be persistent now, and nothing seems to help or stop it. Well, stay away from the acid fruits. Stay back down with the grapes. I would have small amounts. I'd tell him this. Chew well, have small meals. Small meals more often. Just don't eat, but he's 84 anyway, so I'm sure he doesn't sit and hog it down. So he probably hasn't got a real big hunger, so small meals throughout the day. Just keep him, just fill up a little bit. Always good to keep yourself a little hungry and detox. But hi! And we have a little visitor to say hi here after the class.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We enjoyed. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun with everyone.
Yeah, it was fun. That was
fun.
And
yes, we did.
Yeah. You guys
just over the weekend, I was thinking about not only everybody from the class, but just everyone that listens and comes here. And I really felt the impression to tell you guys that your illness, your issues do not define you. You've been created with a purpose, and we are meant to more than survive. We are meant to thrive.
Heck yeah.
So don't let this stuff hold you back. This reason, the purpose, what Dr. Morse has done is to get you through these things so that you can claim life and you can go out there and fulfill your destiny.
We were just kind of talking about that, And it's just, we all work on the same level here. I love that, you know. But that's just what we're talking about. Claim your life. Don't hold on to things like that. It's funny you came in and said that. Well, you know what? It's just we all work at levels of the same, so that was fun.
Yeah.
It was good class.
It was.
Probably going to do the level 2. We just didn't get hardly any protocols in.
I know. We ran out of time. I'm not sure. They may be getting me from here up. I don't know where this goes, but I just wanted to come in and say hi to everyone. Loved everyone at the class and everyone that's watching.
That was fun.
Have a
bye,
good
sweetheart. All right. Thank you. Love that picture you found. I told him about that, too. of that. Now, I would use some cold compresses on the on the back of the head here. Again, cerebellum, I got the dizziness from there. I would do cold compresses or hot and cold when he's in the shower, particularly cool on the head here. That'll give you some help there. Working with small meals, tell him to go slow and just chew thoroughly. But at the same time, I'd stay away maybe from the acid fruits and stuff. But definitely sounds like you got a little hepatic thing going on here as well, and liver. I have suggested a compress to the back of the head to help with the dizziness, but it is not easing the problem much at all. Well, try that upper circ too. Get up there in upper circ, but he's just, he's probably kidneys aren't filtering worth a heck. And got to get those kidneys filtering so this can. Work on those neural lymphatic points down the spine. If you need a chart, Shannon's got the charts now for you. But work on those neural lymphatic points clockwise down the back. That's going to be essential to help him to get that opened up. Work on the kidneys, very important, the adrenal glands, and try to get them opened up. That's all I can say. An 84-year-old, he could have some real stagnant kidneys. Just take some time. Get his latest blood work. Take a look at it. What is creatinine? That's his kidney function. Look at his liver enzymes, things like that. PSA wouldn't be bad to look at an 84-year-old. I think you're doing a lot of those things that you would do. I just think a few of the extra little things we talked about, but you're right on point there. I think it's more than a healing cry. I think this is, he's facing some serious stuff here, and you don't know what, at 84 years old, the condition, if you've seen black holes in the eyes, he's got some deterioration in the stomach maybe, and maybe even the liver a little bit. At 84, that's real possible. If he's been on a high meat diet, then, he's deteriorated the kidneys and his GI tract a little bit, of course, and things like this. It's just what happens to us on high protein diets. Facts, facts, facts. So, I don't know. You keep working him back like that. I think you're doing a great job at it. I think that's really, really good. Smart woman. I like what you're thinking here. Let's see what else. Try the aloe vera, fresh aloe vera. Make sure he's moving his bowels at least once a day, if not twice. After you blow him out, you go one step higher on the stomach and bowel formula if you have to. But you don't blow him out. I don't mean that. But, you really get things moving more aggressively. That's when Cascara sagrada comes in for you, because it is a hepatic and pancreatic stimulant. Not a high one. It's the one you want. Of all, everybody's going to bitch about the purgatives, but the Cascara sagrada I personally have taught and used for 40-some years, and I disagree with some of the people out there. That is the most non-addictive one. When you're getting into turkey rhubarb and you're getting into senna and things like that, you're into something much different than Cascara sagrada. And the nice thing about Cascara sagrada is you give a little liver punch to it, and sometimes you need that a little bit. He was not on many days of fruit only, as he wants to have his salad at night because he prefers vegetables over fruit. Well, that's okay with me. Unless he's getting a lot of digestive problems at night, then I'd go to the simpler foods at night and put the salad at lunch, so he can have it easy to digest at night. This is all at 84 about digestion, kidney function. All these things hit people at these ages because they've never cleaned up their gut, which has been a sewer system for years. All their lives, their kidneys are a sewer system. They're broken down in most elders. The livers, things like that. Now I have a question about me. I recently had a live blood analysis and was told that my cell walls were weak and I need to increase my fats in my diet. Well, fats don't increase the cell wall integrity. That's connective tissue. That's more parathyroid gland. Definitely like lipids in the diet, but fatty acids come just about everywhere. But the question is, since you realize fatty acids are absorbed into the capillaries of the lymph system through the villi or the small bowel, then you realize that if that lymphatic system is stagnant in you, which if you're their dad, you probably have a stagnant lymph system, then those lipids wouldn't get to the liver quite easily. So there is always that look at getting lipids from the small bowel to the liver. not much thought has been given that, and particularly when there is lymph stagnation in the wall where the lymph isn't moving well, unless there's some exceptional way of looking at that. But you have to have a route to the liver from the small bowel, lymphatically speaking, as well as you have to have the system drain to the kidneys. So you're looking at the main portals of the lymph system that go up, one on the left, one on the right, and each one supply each kidney. But you have to have the down and the ups. You have to have the ability to filter up as well as filter down. I need to increase my fat, but are your thoughts and suggestions about what I should do? Well, I don't see where fats on the cell wall would be a benefit, that's for sure. Lipids are more lymphatically based, so that's the system that deals with the lipids. Blood doesn't deal with high lipids, or you'd be in trouble. So you're looking at a system that deals with that. Cell wall integrity, again, going back to parathyroid. Finally, can I make a suggestion for the level 2? Yeah. Certification October. Is it possible to have Skype or webcam facilities to allow students who can make... Yeah, we did have a good question. We did have a Skype at level 1. So I'll put that to Shannon, my dear. That's a good question. Let me write it down. That's why eventually I won't be doing these anymore. You know, they're a lot of work, and eventually I want to have it all on the, it'll all be available online. To go online to get your classes, and then we'll have some webinars, and we'll have, maybe them broken down in segments of classes, and I can teach those segments that way and go online and do that. That seems to be the easiest way and saves you all money from having to fly in, but it's always good to get those hugs and kisses. I always love that. I always love to see you in person. It's more fun to interact that way, but, I'm open to doing, anything like that, because, I want to go out and have some fun too. Owen Fox, good to hear from you again, my old friend. Good friend, I'm glad you're watching. I understand that, but someone in the energetic sense of the way the article was written with Health Ranger, it was just the way he puts it out there. It just changed his attitude. I'm sure he's a good guy. We're all good people. I'm not about that. I see the good in everybody. I see the God in Mike and everyone else, no question about it. But we get trapped, and we get trapped in these ideas and concepts that limit us, and then we also affect others. And the scary part is that it's all karmic driven. So we have to be careful what we put out there. I'm comfortable with what I put out there, that it's all good and comes back good. But some people put out misinformation, and some do it not realizing, because they're going on maybe proper thoughts of anatomy and physiology, and obviously what he thought about the dumping of all these absorbed waste by the liver into the venous system, those sort of things. But again, just how you and the energeticness of how you put things out, how you word things is everything to how you get a response back. And when you see somebody respond to you, and it's in a negative way, go back and revisit how you portrayed yourself, how you verbalized it. Some people are verbally mean and don't know it. I deal with a situation kind of like that, and they don't understand. I threaten to record them all the time and play it back and listen to them, because it's the tone, the verbiage, all of this of how that is. And so when you come out and tear down a detoxification, I'm going to support that and stand up.
Come back and get you? Or?
No, I'm about ready.
Okay, well, wind up first.
Okay, I'll wind this down.
Okay, we're in the car.
Okay, I'll wind this down and I'll be right there. So that's the only thing. I love everyone, including Mike. I love everyone. But when you put it out there, my problem is we put out so much wrong information that it's constantly getting put out that way. That's a problem. And we've had enough of that misinformation that people are so confused now. And the thing is, and I was saying this in class, we want to be a strong voice. But a strong voice is a voice that is ethical, righteous, truthfulness, all the things in a higher level of an individual and how they interact with the world. Because natural health has had a lot of beaten up by the allopathic community. Some rightly so, and most of it not rightly so. So you've got natural practitioners that are way out there and do some goofy things and say some goofy things. And not true. And so you can understand on the other side, the intellectual side, how that appears. So we have to bridge the gap between the goofy and the insane and the ridiculous things you don't do and the insane things that allopathy do. Because as bad as they say against us, their field is way out there in ridiculousness and sad stuff. But there's also the benefit of that system. You got to understand that system has some incredible benefits. Good surgery, good ERs, although we can improve ER works. We definitely directly have direct response with emergency room work. So, and I have friends that's an ER nurses. I'm very well based in these things. So I do know what's up on these things. So it's just, but good surgeons, oh my God. I mean, there's nothing like that. But it's putting things prospectively in the right fields they need to be in, and not, throwing out ridiculousness. Allopath throws out bull crap stuff that's not true. Same with some naturopaths. So we're all guilty of that at one level or another. I'm trying to build a system of integrity, of facts, and healers that walk with awareness and integrity, because we need to change the consciousness, and you guys are a big deal here. You're a big part of God's plan here, and I need you to accept that, because each and every one of you are just beautiful souls and need to get your joy back and happiness. Let's play a little bit. And we can play and have fun while we get our bodies healthy and while we teach a little more factual information, things that we know true in clinical work, because that's where my stuff comes from. I don't listen to things too much anymore, because I've just got so many stacks of paper from this theory and this concept. I need to know what works on humans in a clinical work, where you can take an emaciated, highly acidic, chewed up person and bring them back to Wellville. That's what matters. That's what counts. That's what separates you guys, the men from the boys, the ladies from the girls. These are, you can, just like Anna here, taking care of her dad. I mean, at a level that he needs. And to sustain him and to bring him up into the 90s or older. And she knows the facts. And Anna's the type of person that I see a lot of you guys doing. And the world is craving you guys, because everybody's wanting to know, where do I get well? Where I find the key and the answers to these things? And you guys are that answer. I'm just one old guy, but you guys are all over the place, and it's just all of us together make for a beautiful music together, don't you think? I do. And this includes medical and all of us. We all need to work together. Let's work with what works, what we factually know what works. And we've got 40 years of a lot of clinical works. And now you guys on Facebook are kicking butt, healing people up right and left like nobody's business. Incredible. And my love goes out to each and every one of you. I have to leave now, but I'll tell you what, I'll be back and I'll keep going down this line, because I need to, toward the end of this week, I'll do another 3 or 4 hours, and I apologize for doing it. It's the only way this week I can get it done. Love you guys so much. It was really a pleasure for all you that came to the class. I enjoyed every second of that. It's always fun to get warm hugs and to be in person to see you. Future, probably not so much. We'll probably do more webinars and more things online and stuff to help save you all money, where you can, get on this and help more people. And so have fun today, guys. And thank you so much. Love y'all.